The great place to be.
It is.
CC. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. We're early because that's what we do when Ricky's on
maternity leave. Oh, you only got a couple more weeks left of this. I go back at the end of this month.
I'm on permanent maternity leave. Yeah. So I'm cool with this all the time. I think Pam is too.
Yes.
I mean, I have a baby smiling at me right now, so.
No, but I
should be napping.
Yeah, I have a Mickey Mouse statue smiling at me right now from an old McDonald's Happy Meal toy.
Nice.
Back in the 90s.
I laid her down a nap, and then you said, "Can we record?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I had to bring her with me, and I'm hoping she goes back to sleep.
Yeah, me too, because we can't have.
Well, I mean, I've got a binky, so it's not like.
I mean, does that always work? It didn't work with Mallory.
Most of the time.
Okay. All right. So it's time for listener questions. You have a question, we have answers, all that good stuff. And let me do this real quick and hit the tweet. If you've been down at Walt Disney World and seen the cheerleaders, it's almost over. There's one more weekend of cheer. D2 Summit coming up for the small weekend. This past weekend was the summit for the big gyms. So cheer season almost over. All right. So we are good there. We have questions in the inbox. We have a ton of them.
Yay.
So, all right. First question is about Disneyland. All right. Here we go. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. 227. Wait, make sure that's the right number. 2279. Yep. All right. 2279. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2279 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you and happy May the 3rd. I mean, it's not May the 4th yet, so I'm going to make that a thing. Go get a drink. It's May the 3rd.
I like it.
Be with you. And
it's kind of like thirst.
Kind of. I mean, go to 7-Eleven and maybe they'll give you a free Slurpee or something. I know they do that like on July 11th. Just you're early. You're a couple months early. Anyway, we're here not to celebrate that. You can do that tomorrow. Get out your lightsaber and have fun with all that and dress up like Obi-Wan Kenobi. But today we're answering listener questions and we are not dressed as Jedi, but we are Jedi of Disney knowledge. We're going to run with that. I didn't even write that down, but that's what we're doing today. And we're glad to have you here with us today. The crew is here joining us from themouseforless.com, which I promise you, no Sith hangout on that website, but it's all good Jedi news. I'm sorry. Man, I was
tips, tricks. You had it good there, and then you just totally
rumors and clickbait. No, it's not clickbait.
No.
I was tricking you because we talked about that on Sunday night. We had a big conversation. Well, we'll talk about that here at the top of the show. I'm going to ask you guys real quick. I got a question for you, but first, right. Ricky joining us from the Mouse for Less. Ricky, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday. I will not be celebrating May the 4th. So, it's just another day for me. Not going to have on Star Wars anything here at the house.
Or you.
Yeah, I know, right? So it's just going to be me and Lucy here. So that's it. No Star Wars.
Put a couple of buns on the side of her head and color Princess Leia.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'll end up doing. Sure.
That's what you got to do. Come on. Are you not a Disney fan?
Not a Star Wars fan. No. So
something's wrong with you.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
All right. Also joining us, we have the coder of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester, who the Force is strong with. Pam, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
It's true. The Force is strong. I like it all. I like all the Star Wars holidays. Are they official holidays? Are they actually on calendars? I don't know. There's a lot of holidays I don't know that are on the calendar, and that's just because I don't celebrate that. Every now and then I'll see like a holiday and I'll be like, I wonder what that is. And then I look it up and I'm like, oh, all right. So I like all the different holidays. I guess you like Star Wars isn't really a religion, so maybe that's why.
Well, for some people it is. I don't know.
I know, that's what I'm thinking. Like maybe the Star Wars holiday should be on. Like, what's the qualifier to be on the calendar? as an official holiday. I want to know that. So
I don't know, but we have our first caller of the day. Hang on.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
All right, thank you, Darth.
I find your lack of
wait,
faith
it's
disturbing.
looping. Sorry about that. Darth gets 2 shots there. Okay, cool. That was for Ricky. No, I don't know what makes him official. I guess it's just geekdom. How geeky are you? So,
maybe.
pretty geeky.
I'm happy. Look, if I love all the holidays, so if like whatever people want to celebrate, if they want to celebrate with me, I'm in. So.
I mean, this is a great week, right? I mean, you got May the 4th and you got Cinco de Mayo. And by the way, Friday's show is going to all be about Cinco de Mayo. So grab a margarita and a burrito and come back Fridays. So be ready. You knew we weren't missing that one, right?
No. I've celebrated many. Yes. I've celebrated many May the 4th and Cinco de Mayo at Walt Disney World. It's actually a really fun week to celebrate.
It is. But that's Friday. Hold on. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
So we opened up the phone lines on Sunday night, Scott and I. It's the BOGP open line. If you're not there on Sunday nights at 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central, Facebook and YouTube, and calling in, where you been? It's awesome. We have fun with our listeners. So you guys, I guarantee both of you saw this on the social media. The lady that said that Walt Disney World is the biggest scam going, and she went in and she bought the $800 worth of lightsabers, and she went to the most expensive character meal. Then immediately after character meal, she had to buy popcorn for everybody. She had to buy snacks for other snacks for everybody. She had to buy Genie Plus for everybody. She had to buy individual lightning lanes. She went and spent the most amount of money possible in the most undisciplined way imaginable just to make a clickbaity story for TikTok. She's like a high luxury TikTok influencer. Burned me up, and it really burned up our phone lines too on Sunday night, which you can hear the show tomorrow on the feed. Pam, what do you think about that kind of stuff? Because the thing is, to me, it makes us as sane Disney fans, when our friends and family see stories like this on social media, they're like, yeah, you go to that place and it's insane. It's so expensive. How do you know it's such a weight? And no, it doesn't have to be. I do it and I do it in a sensible manner. But when you see somebody exploit, social media like that, it just burned me up. But I don't want to give her a ton of time, but I just want to get your guys' take on this.
Yeah, look, no one makes you spend any amount of money while you're at Disney. I mean, except for if you want to go into the park, you have to buy park tickets. If you don't even have to go into the park if you don't want to. You don't have to stay at the resorts. You don't have to whatever. To spend for me, it's sort of the ultimate in ignorance for me to spend money and then be mad at somebody else about it. I'm like, isn't that sort of on me? What I spent my money on? I don't know. I think of myself as being responsible for me and my own actions. If I don't want to do something, or I feel like something wasn't a good value or whatever, then I won't do it again. So that's my take on all of it. And plus, you have to really think about, I think this is not just in social media, but especially in social media, what's the person's motivation for posting this, right?
It was clickbait 100%. And that's the motivation when you look at her. That's kind of her MO for her whole social media presence. But it's just because everybody sees it and everybody talks about it, and then for us sane Disney fans, which is that a misnomer? I don't know. Is that one of those? What are they called?
Saner.
Exactly. But I mean, it's one of those things wow, it is so it's just like going to the ball game, right? I mean, you could sit in the most expensive seat in the stadium, but I still see the same ball game when I sit up in the loge section for a reasonable price. Could I get the, where the waiter comes and serves me everything I get to eat and puts a napkin around my neck? No, I just go and get an order of nachos and a Coke Zero, and I'm happy, and I watch the ball game at a reasonable price, But
if you spent that money and then complained about it the whole time, as if it was somebody else's fault, that would be sort of a craziness kind of thing, right? I mean,
it's a society we live in, but it just something about that. I hate when people do that kind of stuff because it's a happy place, and I know it's not perfect. I get that it is, and it is expensive. But I mean, so is going to the Cardinals game, and so is going to the movies. If I bought every one of my kids, if we all four went and we all four got large tubs of popcorn, if we go, we sneak in cheap candy from the dollar store. We do. I mean, I'm sorry, because they don't police that. It's expensive.
Well, and I always say too, like this is something that I talk about, with the agents too. But if you aren't talking about something that is frustrating to you with the person that can actually solve it, or a person who can actually solve it, then are you really interested in solving the problem? Or are you just more interested in complaining about the problem?
And Ricky, you work in social media, so I mean, this kind of thing. I mean, I'm no dummy. I know the whole reason is that we're talking about this. She's winning because we're talking about it on our show right now. Like,
exactly,
this is exactly her end game. And people clicked on it. That was her end game. But it just bugs me.
No, I'm not a clickbait person in the sense of, on the Mouse for Less, you will never see me write a clickbait article.
We said that on Sunday night. We appreciate that.
I won't do it because if you want to know the information, you want to know the information. Don't trick me into figuring out, what the information is. So, I very much get irked by the clickbait. I saw an article this weekend about being trapped on Disney Cruise Line because the ship wasn't, was stuck in Nassau. And I was like, well, they weren't.
Sign me up.
They weren't really trapped. I mean, they
$100 onboard credit and the 20% off a future cruise.
Exactly. I'll take it. But like the word they used was trapped. And I was like, well, that's kind of clickbaity, definitely clickbaity. So like, I don't know. That stuff bothers me too. And again, I like you. I know why they do it. It gets people who are not, as inclined as we are, in the community and paying attention to what things really are to actually click on things and, get the, clicks and money and stuff like that. But I mean, if you really want to know information, it's out there in legitimate ways, i.e. the Mouse for Less. I can guarantee you the information is on the Mouse for Less and not going to be a clickbait article. So
yeah, over the Mouse for Less, it's just the facts, Jack. And that's what I like, what you need to know. So there you go. So anyway,
let's go on to our questions. And you know what? You won't believe number 3.
Yes, exactly.
It's more like Buzz Mouse. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Hey, don't go away before question number 4.
Yeah. Guess
it will change your life.
Guess which snack Mike Rollman will never eat again.
That was awesome, fam. That was classic. That was so good. Okay, so I totally forgot what I was going to do because that was so great. Real quick, I wanted to mention, though, especially for those people going on the Be Our Guest podcast cruise, which we have some questions about that here in the live chat, which we're going to get to here in just 1 second, that Disney Cruise Line had an announcement over the weekend. I love when they announce stuff over the weekend, that the check-in dates have now changed, and they've announced that new Pearl level of the Castaway Club now. So you have Pearl, you have Platinum, you have Gold, you have Silver, and you have Newbies. So you got those levels, but now we have new check-in dates of, let's see if I got this right, because I was just talking with Disney Cruise Line about 28 minutes ago. Pearl checks in concierge as well at 40 days prior to the cruise. Pack me up, Pam, if I get this. I'm almost positive that Platinum is now 38 days prior to the cruise. Gold is 35 days prior to the cruise. Silver is 33 days prior to the cruise, and first timers are still at 30. That's
yep. It. 40, yes. 38, 35, 33, and 30.
Old dog can memorize.
And the booking window has changed as well, just for Pearl members. They can book 3 days before Platinum can at that 120 days. So that's the day you can book your dining, your excursions, your activities, and things like that. If you're paid in full.
Yep. Right. How many cruises do you have to be in Pearl?
20? 20, yeah.
20 or 25.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
Quite a few. I mean, you're pretty much allowed to steer the boat if you're in Pearl. So good luck. Okay.
So but what that means is good luck to anybody who wants a cabana, because you're never getting one unless you're,
Well, it was the same before, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's not like there's more pearls now.
No,
they were all just platinum before, and now Pearl. You know what? And I don't even know what I am at this point. Isn't that funny? I don't keep track of stuff like that. Like, people often say to me, how many times have you gone to Disney World?
I
don't know. I get on the plane.
No idea. Yeah.
I get there. What do we count by? Days spent? I don't know. I just go.
I don't know. I just go.
Well, I do know that I'm Platinum. I don't know how close I am to Pearl, but I know that Mallory becomes platinum this cruise because she's like, I want the same lanyard as you. I'm there. I'm like, you weren't born. I mean, what do you mean tell you? Like, you don't have as many cruises because you weren't alive.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's like, it wasn't like not bringing you. Like, sorry, you were not born. You were not on the earth. So I can't tell you. I know you are spoiled. So anyway, Jenna's got a question. Speaking of the Be Our Guest podcast cruise, let's hop in. It's been too long. We need to get to questions. We're coming on the BOGP cruise and then staying for 3 park days. It is the first time going for my husband and the 3 kids. They're 10, 8, and 4, and they're used to a much smaller Disneyland and hate the heat. Any ADR recommendations for people who will likely be very overwhelmed by Walt Disney World for a nice place to have a nice meal and escape the craziness? Looking for recommendations at each park, also for foodies. All right, I'm throwing in my first one, I think. And I can't wait to sail with you guys. Kids are going to have fun. We're going to have a blast. I've been talking with Jenna for a long time. I met Jenna down at the Springtime Surprise. We're going to have a blast. Go Toronto Maple Leafs. Ryan O'Reilly. Okay, so let me just say this. I'm going to throw in Garden Grill. Character meal, Epcot, in the land. The restaurant rotates. Really good food. I think everybody kind of likes it. It's not real crazy food. It's kind of just your basic food. Super cool. Chippendale. Is Mickey Mouse there too? I think he is, like a farmer.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I mean, Canadians like farmers, like especially if you're like from Saskatchewan or something. I don't know where they're from in Canada, but I'm just kidding. I don't know. But like hockey players usually from like, Halibut or something. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I watch a lot of Hockey Night in Canada. No, but Garden Grill's my suggestion. And you're right. I mean, I like this because July, Walt Disney World, never been there. Probably you're exactly right. It'll be a little bit overwhelming if you're used to a little bitty Disneyland. So Pam, what do you say to Jenna and squad?
So first of all, Jenna, I'm going to say, listen to your people.
If
people are getting, if people are getting hot, tired, thirsty, whatever, do something different. Don't feel like you have to keep going on just to get things done. Go back to your hotel for a swim. Like you're saying right here, stop, have a meal, sit down, cool off. I think there are a lot of people that like heat is sort of like a threshold. Once you're too hot, boom, you're too hot. Yep. And it's too late. If you feel yourself getting too hot, go into an air-conditioned attraction. Make sure you get something to drink, blah, blah, blah. Do all those things. So I'm going to say that. So Mike gave you a place that you can go in Epcot. I'm going to go ahead and give you a place that you can go in Animal Kingdom because there really aren't that many choices. I would try out Tiffin's. I think it's good for dinner or lunch. They have an interesting menu. It's not the same stuff. If you don't want a sit down meal, you can always go to the lounge. They have seating both inside and outside for the lounge. And even on the hottest of days, somehow that outside seating area feels cool and just a nice place to relax, things like that. The other thing you need to remember is too, it's not just table service that it has great indoor seating at Walt Disney World. There's lots of great seating at quick service locations too. So make sure you have one of those in your back pocket. And even if you just need to stop and get an iced tea and a bottle of water, that seating's available for you there too at the quick service locations.
Yes, mobile order. Pecos Bills, Cosmic Rays over in Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom, Columbia Harbor House in the Magic Kingdom. Get out, especially if you're there in the afternoon in July and like Fantasyland. Dude, just like split with your family. Some hush puppies and fries. Dude, I get clam chowder. I don't recommend that in July, but I love clam chowder and my family hates it, so it's the only place I can get it. That's the worst probably thing ever in the world to eat in July in the heat, but I do. So don't do as I do, but just get something good, just get a snack up there and just go up top and relax and get some AC. So it's a good call, but mobile order, so you don't have to wait in line with kids. Ricky, so we got Animal Kingdom, we got Epcot. So another suggestion.
Yeah. And, Magic Kingdom is going to be a harder one just because I feel like, the food at the Magic Kingdom it's sometimes good, sometimes bad. It just depends on where you're going. I'm going to suggest if you want to stay in the Magic Kingdom, Crystal Palace, I think it's going to be a character meal. It's going to be a unique character meal because of the fact that it's Winnie the Pooh characters. So I think that's a really good option. And then if you are okay with leaving the park, I'm going to suggest going to Kona over the Polynesian. I think that that's a really good option as well. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, if you are okay with leaving the park. And then as far as Hollywood Studios is concerned, one of our favorites is 50s Primetime. It's such a good experience, very different than anything you got at Disneyland. So that's going to be an option that I think I would suggest for over there.
And I love 50 or sci-fi. I just haven't been in there in like a decade because I cannot get an ADR in there no matter what. I can't get a walk up. They will not let me in that place. It's something about me. I cannot get in. That place is super cool too. If you can swing an ADR there, that'd be cool. Also, remember when you're at the studios, you can just hop on the Skyliner and you can go to the Riviera. Well, she's going to be at Caribbean Beach. So Primo Piatto is a great counter service option too over at the Riv. It's awesome food. Anyway. All right, so let's get to a question here from Julie. She says, planning a possible trip to California right after the 4th of July, trying to work in a first-time trip to Disneyland. I see that the Matterhorn bobsleds are closed until TBD, and Alice, Peter Pan, and Mr. Toad are going down June 5th until TBD. Have you heard anything about the possible length of these closures? I'm getting a little worried about the number of big things that may be down when I'm there to visit. So those three that you're talking about in Fantasyland, other than the Matterhorn, they're in the same show building. So that's why they're all going down at the same time, I believe. Somebody rumored that it might have been because all those rains. Maybe it's like a roof thing. This is what I heard. I mean, they had like historic rains this spring, so that could actually be it. Because I wouldn't imagine that they planned to take these things down right at the beginning of June. I can't imagine this was like a scheduled thing. This is probably like, we have to take these things down. And they are great attractions, right? I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, I went out there and I fell in love with Alice and Toad, and Peter Pan's a classic. I mean, there's nothing there. But here's the good news. In the Matterhorn bobsleds, they're awesome, but your back will thank you. So your kidneys and your liver and every other part of your body. That is the most jarring experience in the history of amusement parks, theme parks. But here's the thing. There's so much at Disneyland and DCA. You're still going to have an amazing time. Like, I know that I'd be sweating bullets too if I was in your shoes, right? If it was my first time going to Disneyland, I'd be like, because I know, like, Mike, shut up. I don't want to hear you say that I'm going to be fine, that these 4 things are down. I get it, but you are. It's still going to be awesome. But man, I feel your pain, right? Because those are unique things, especially Alice and Toad.
Well, I have a date for the Matterhorn. So the Matterhorn actually reopens on June 1st. So
look at you Jedi.
I know. Look. Stop.
There you go. So what about TBD? What's TBD equal?
I mean, I don't know about Mr. Toad, but I know that that Matterhorn is June 1st. So that I have an answer for. So yay. Mr. Toad and all them just say check back for updates. So it's probably one of those things where, like you said, if they're closing it kind of at a spur of the moment type of thing, in a way, like they probably don't know how long the work is going to take.
Probably right. It's
to get finished.
Yeah, that's true. It's like when a hailstorm comes through North County, St. Louis, like just whenever they get your roof on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, by the way, Tim Rogers in the live chat, nice mention here. Not the Ninja at Six Flags. That is a brutal roller coaster.
I love the Ninja.
That thing rattles your head back and forth so hard, like it's a miracle your head's still on your shoulders when you get back in the station.
It beats you up so much. But my friends and I, we all have this thing with the Ninja back home in St. Louis, where as you go down the first hill, we all yell, lift your feet, because like you get some kind of good airtime at that second. So like we just yell it, and then you get the airtime. And then we had a friend who literally rode the Ninja 10 times in a row, back to back to back to back. Yeah, that was the whole point of the day.
And they are now concussed.
Yeah.
Because that thing would kill you, because you had the thing over, but your head would be between the two restraints and just beat your head back and forth.
Your head just beats on those restraints so badly.
You literally should have had to wear a helmet in there.
You probably should have, yeah.
Oh my God, so terrible. But it was awesome.
It was awesome.
When you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Margaret's got a question. She says, hey, Mike and BOGP podcast crew, I'm hoping you can help me decide how best to use a 5-day ticket that includes Genie Plus at Disneyland. We got a lot of Disneyland going today.
Hey.
Well, I got my Disneyland shirt on. Maybe that's it. The challenge I have is that I'll be at Disneyland for 6 days. That's a good challenge to have. I won't arrive until after 4 p.m. on day one, and that assumes no travel delays from the UK. I need to leave around noon on day 6 to get back to LAX for my flight back to the UK. So, should I use the 1 day of the 5-day ticket on my arrival day and spend the late afternoon and evening in the parks, or not go into the parks that day, but instead use my 5th day of the ticket on my last day to be able to get 3 hours in the parks before I return home? I'm not staying on Disney property, so I won't be able to get in for that extra half hour in the morning. I'm leaning towards using it on arrival day, as it will mean an extra opportunity to see the evening shows and parades, but welcome hearing your advice on this. Best wishes, Margaret. Ricky, what say you? Well, you're not a morning person.
I know, I'm not a morning person, but I have done Disneyland in the morning. So see, but I'm gonna say I know they're coming from the UK, so that's my only like sticking point on that is the time zone difference that you're gonna definitely feel coming to California. So I'm hoping that you're stopping somewhere along the way, because if that's a straight shot, whoo, that's a long day.
Just coming from the middle of the United States. Like I was like, why is everybody going to bed so early? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's so weird.
So personally, I would go for the evening at Disneyland, but I would play it by ear in that sense because although you gotta have park reservations. So yeah, I would go with the evening one. But if you're worried about being just completely sleep deprived, then I'd do the morning on your departure day. I'd rather have that departure day to like just not stress. So that's kind of why I would rather do it the day that I arrive. Plus, you're so hyped at being there. The day that you get there, you want to be in the park anyway. So that's why I'd go the night that I got there.
See, I'm going the opposite way, and here's why. I like her idea though of going the night you get there. Though the idea we've seen the parades of fireworks, right? Because that's awesome. Here's the thing: I think you can that first day you're so amped up, like because this is what I did because I had a 5-day ticket and we were there for 7 days. I was fine with just seeing downtown Disney and just going up to the gates and like looking at the train station and all that. I mean, I wanted to go in. Don't get me wrong. I almost climbed the fence. Like I was so amped, but I knew I couldn't. I knew tomorrow was going to be amazing. Like, and I could hardly. I was totally the commercial. I was too excited to sleep because I was at the Disneyland Hotel. Like I was there. I was so close to the train station. But we went into Marceline's, like the candy store. We went into the, all the stores. We went into just all the stores at downtown Disney and just had a good time. And then got to relax, got to bed early, and we're out there in the morning. So just like you said, adjustment from travel. You're kind of tired. You're not at your best. I would do the opposite, but I mean, again, here we are. We always do this on every question. Pam, be the tiebreaker. What would you do?
I'm going to be the tiebreaker because there is a correct answer.
Okay, good. Because really, there's no right or wrong. I mean, it just depends.
No, I'm just teasing.
Then you could really get a lot done in those 3 hours on your last day.
So I'm gonna actually say go ahead and do it the day you get there, and I will tell you why. First of all, if your plane's really delayed and you're not feeling it, you can cancel that theme park reservation and make it for your last day. So use the ticket for your last day instead. So think about that. Secondly, when I travel someplace and it's not the time zone I am in, I do my best to get on that time zone the first day I'm there. So when I fly to California, even though I'll typically be flying in the morning from Pittsburgh and I get to California, I make myself stay up till at least 10 o'clock on the day wherever I am. And the reason why that is because then you're just like so exhausted that your body sort of naturally lets you sleep in a little bit, do all those things that you don't typically do. The other reason is the one that you mentioned, the nighttime shows. Those are typically the things that it's sort of hard to fit them all in, or that you like them so much you want to see them again. So I would do that and leave my last morning. I do one of the character meals. There's a great one at Goofy's. There's one at Storytellers Cafe that has all the princesses. Take my time there, have all my stuff packed, and then head to it. I'm joking that there isn't a right answer, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, like, do you hit the ground running, or do you save it so you can have those last few hours to hang on to your vacation before you get to the airport?
Yes,
it's kind of either way. All right, John's got a question here. He's in our live chat, and he's going to sail with us on the Be Our Guest podcast cruise in 60 days. Can you believe it? 2 months. What? I don't even know what song the Wish plays. Oh, when you wish upon a star, right? On the horn. Pam, you've been on it, right?
I've been on it a couple times.
Did they let you push the button to play the horn?
No, they didn't come and get me. And like, I'm sort of upset about that. Like, I really like their ships and I have a good time. I think I would be the perfect person to push the button.
I'm just saying, one of the podcast cruises, like as we were sailing out, no kidding, the first thing the horn played was Be Our Guest. I'm like, yes. And I think I was in a grass skirt at the time with a margarita in my hand. I was like, dude, I'm the king of the world right now. I'm here with like 100 friends drinking a margarita or some kind of sail away drink in a grass skirt, and they're playing Be Our Guest on the horn on the ship, and we're going past fish lips. I'm like, life rocks. Anyway, John's got a question. He says, looking forward to the BOGP cruise coming up in July. My wife and I are first-time cruisers. What's one tip from each of you to enjoy for our first time? Mine is, and again, it's the one I always give. Do the minor things on board. Of course, you're going to want to see the headliner shows. You're going to want to enjoy the meals in the dining room. You're going to want to do all that stuff. But I'm telling you what, for me, the fun is going to 80s trivia. It's going to karaoke. It's going to game shows that sometimes they shoehorn in between dinner and the show, the main show. Like it'll be a quick little, 30-minute thing in the equivalent of the D Lounge, like the family little venue that's small. It's that kind of stuff, the towel folding or, all that crazy stuff. That's like the thing where I forgot what they call it, the Spuds 500 or something, where you take a potato and you turn into like a race car. Like it's like the pine car.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
In the Boy Scouts, like the vegetable 500 or something. It was just like, and you get a little medal, if you win. And I'm super competitive. So I love that kind of stuff. Silent disco, like you got to go.
Yeah.
This stuff. But first, the biggest thing: look at the navigator, and then put a heart next to everything you might even at all be interested in, and then your phone will give you a little, 30 minutes before the event happens, and you make the call: do I want to go or not? But at least So minor events become major fun with Disney Cruise Line, and they can use that for their next commercial. All right, Pam or Ricky, you go. Give some advice, even though you're unfortunately not going because
I know I had a childcare issue, so I am unfortunately not able to make the BOGP cruise. So.
But you've sailed,
I have sailed, and I will be sailing the Wish in August. It's a long story, but I was supposed to sail the Wish last August. But Lucy had other plans. She made me very nauseous, and I didn't want to end up in a Bahamian hospital. So I was like, probably not a great idea. Yeah, exactly. So I pushed my Wish cruise to August, and then, yeah. So anyway, my tip is, it kind of goes along the lines with what you have. Make sure you stop and just enjoy, like, the decks, like sit on a deck. Well, do they have a deck 4 where they have like the comfy chairs or something like that? If not,
deck 4, I'm sure it doesn't go from like 3 to 5.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like
there are plenty of spaces on the ship to sit and enjoy.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
Really
That's like the best thing to do is just sit and enjoy. For me, it's like I'll go grab a coffee and just watch as the ocean, goes by, or go get an ice cream or, whatever, but like just sit and enjoy just being there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the best thing that so many people, I think, because they are running from place to place to place to place, I think that a lot of times people forget about doing that. And like, that's one of the most marvelous things that you can do when you're on a Disney Cruise Line ship or any cruise ship, to be honest. But that's one of my favorite things.
And don't take pictures of like your feet like looking out of the ocean, please.
I mean, don't post them on social media.
I won't. I have runner's toes. Like I have toenails at this point, so I'm not going to post any of those on social. All right, Pam, go ahead. What do you got?
All right, I'm gonna do 2 because I always do 2 when you're only supposed to do 1. So I always suggest make sure you see a sunrise and a sunset when you're on the cruise. 100%. Right? They're so good. Just pick a spot, go and look and enjoy. It's really just a cool thing to do at sea. I don't know why it's so much better at sea, but pretty much everything's better at sea. So
Mhm.
I will absolutely say that. And another thing I suggest doing is once you get on the ship and you're looking at your app and all the really cool activities that are going to be happening during your cruise, have each member of your family pick one thing they want to do, and everyone else has to be all in and do the thing.
That's
like if it's trivia, then you're all in and you're all doing trivia. If it's karaoke, you're all in and you're all singing karaoke. If it's meet one of the princesses, then you're all in, you're getting your photo taken and all of that. It's a cool thing. And I think you get to see your family in sort of a different way. It's really interesting to see what everyone might pick.
That's a good call. And find me. I'll be all in with you. So it'll be fun. I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. I mean, we're getting so close. I'm getting so excited because we just saw the kickoff for the because I mean, we did the 12th anniversary at sea stuff, right? And I mean, new gifts for Castaway Club members in the staterooms, new lanyards, new treats.
Those lanyards look amazing, by the way. I'm excited to get my lanyard. So yeah,
they have like little Mickey bling bling on them.
I know.
Awesome. Kind of a little Flavor Flavish.
Yeah.
Flavor.
Oh, and by the way, so it's not, I'd like for us to get t-shirts. Okay. For everybody that wants to get them, this is just something we've done in the past. We don't have a logo. If anybody is any kind of talented in graphic design that's out there, and if you're on the podcast cruise, that'd be awesome. But if you're not, that you're more than welcome to. We're going with the kind of patriotic theme of this is something like
4th of July cruise. Yeah.
No, it's a salute to all podcasts, but mostly the BOGP. And
that's funny.
Because it's over the 4th of July. But if anybody wants to throw together kind of a logo for us for the podcast cruise, that'd be awesome. And just let me know if you're kind of into that and you just want to have it on a shirt. We could like print it up.
We can get it printed up.
Yeah, because that we can figure we can get it on a shirt, but because it's getting down to crunch time, and I am the worst at like I got terrible grades in art and middle. I even had to take an art because when you become a teacher, you have to take all these classes like teaching blank in the elementary classroom. I had to take teaching art in the elementary classroom. It was horrible. I'm like, look, I promise you, I will not be teaching art. That's what I told the lady. She's like, okay, you get a C. I was like, C works for me because
I'll take it.
I could teach PE, I could teach math, science, social studies. I'm never teaching art, and I'm never teaching band because I had to play like a ukulele. I had to take a final one time. Totally off topic. This should be a mic in the Midwest, but here we go. In this music class, it was teaching music in the elementary classroom again. I was like, I promise you, I will never. I was a DJ at the time. I was like, I'll spin a record for you, but I'm never teaching music. So I had to play for my final. I had to play a harpsichord. You know what that is? I feel like I was like a fire from like the Middle Ages, and I'm left-handed, and they only had right-handed instruments. No. So I had to play a ukulele like upside down. I had to play a harpsichord and like one other instrument. And I missed the final because I was at a speed skating competition. So I had to go into the lady's office and do it like just like one-on-one. It was like I was giving her like a personal concert, and it was terrible. And I was like, look, lady, I told her, I was like, ma'am, please don't fail me. I was like, look, I want to be a teacher, but I promise you, I'm going to be in a big school district. This is like for people that like teach way out in the country that they have to, like in their one room schoolhouse, right? They have to teach everything. I'm like, I'm going to teach in a big district. They're going to have a music teacher. I just have to teach the good stuff, like the regular stuff, science, social studies, math, all that good stuff. I'm never going to get around to you. I promise you. I'll sign a letter right here that I will never teach a kid how to play the ukulele. I promise you. Like I will never do that.
Not learn the ukulele in school anyway. So
she gave me a C too. So I was like, whew. It killed my grade point average though, because I could not. Because I was left-handed and I only had a right-handed. I should have filed like an ADA thing against
right.
her. Like,
exactly. That sounds really messed up because I'm left-handed too, and there's no way I could play the ukulele right-handed.
Dude, yeah. I should have got extra credit.
Right.
Anyway. Here we go. Ashley's got a question. Speaking of 25th anniversary, she needs some dinner recommendation. I'm not going to play ukulele for you people.
That's
hey
good.
There. My husband and I will be celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary at Walt Disney World this August. We met working at the Disney store back in 1997. And so Disney has been an important part of our story. Having said this, we haven't been to Disney World since 2014, which is by far the longest stretch between trips. My husband surprised me with this anniversary trip a few days ago, and obviously there are a lot of new things for us to see and do in the parks. My specific question, though, is around a special dinner. Since we'll be there for our 25th anniversary, where would you recommend? We would like to stay in the parks or close by at a nearby resort due to the sheer amount of new things we have to fit into our days. We also don't want to break the bank, but a nice sit down meal with good atmosphere would be nice. What would be your suggestion for a nice 25th anniversary meal? We're feeling a bit overwhelmed with choice. Thanks. Ashley is in Villa Rica, Georgia. And yes, she didn't know which email to send it to, but that one worked. Okay. So don't want to break the bank. Nearby, either in the parks or close to the parks, one of the on-site resorts. Ricky, Romance Ricky, what do you got?
That's me. I am actually going to take one of Pam's suggestions from earlier, and I'm going to say Tiffin's. I think that that's a really great option. I've done that myself with me and Brian. It's definitely kind of has a romantic vibe. They have some interesting food. It's in the theme park, so I'm going Tiffin's this time.
Tiffin's. Fancy. Pam Forrester, what say you?
What two am I going to say?
There you go, exactly.
Okay. So if you're over in the Epcot area, you can walk out and go to Ale and Compass. It's right there at the Yacht Club, and I think you'll get a good meal there. The atmosphere is kind of romantic. It's kind of darkly lit and stuff like that. And it has good food. It's not outrageously expensive. It's not a signature meal, but it is good, solid food. There's some great stuff there. So check that out. And if you happen to be over at the Magic Kingdom, I'm going to say that there are some great spots over at the Polynesian, and one of them is Kona. I think that that's a great table service location that has some different options, but it's not going to break the bank either. So try that.
Yes. And I'm going to go with one that Sean in our live chat has suggested, and it is Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary, because
Good
again,
one.
very good food at a very reasonable price for what you're getting. I think that's a very reasonably priced option. You get to go to the Contemporary, see the whole hotel, the monorail passing through. It's very Disney, and I think that's something you're looking for in your vacation. Also, I was going to throw in Trattoria Al Forno over on the boardwalk, because I think that's reasonably priced. Really good Italian food, in my opinion. I mean, I think it is. And you could, have a night out on the boardwalk. You can get ice cream down at the ice cream place. You just walk the loop around there. Try to avoid the kids driving the Surrey bikes. Don't get hit by those. That'd be not romantic. But I think that'd be two good options. Sean also says the Boathouse, which is a good option if you're going to Disney Springs. Because the thing is, the Boathouse is a signature restaurant, but there are things on the menu that can be very reasonable. Like the filet sliders are not super expensive, and they're just super tasty.
100%. They have burgers and sandwiches and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's one of those places, like, I always think, oh, it's signature, like it's too expensive to go there. But the Boathouse, actually, I mean, if you look on the menu, you can find stuff. So it's not bad. Let's see if we have time for one more question. That was too long. It's super long. It's like a book. Let's see. No, we don't have time for another question. So we're going to wrap it here, and we'll get to
the
that's going to do it for today. But we'll get to the questions again next Wednesday. So join us in the live chat. We usually record around 5:30 Eastern. Sometimes we go a little bit early. Well, so we got 2 weeks left of
Mike, if you hadn't gone on and on about your story about playing the instruments, we could have gone with that last question, but it's fine.
Okay, fine.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing you. Go.
We're getting another question. Hey, BOGP crew. I was lucky enough to get an annual pass when they went back on sale last week. I opted to add on PhotoPass, a must for race weekends, but chose not to add the water parks and sports option. This is my first time as an AP holder, and now I'm even more excited for the trips I have planned for next year. I'm just wondering if you could talk about any tips for getting the most out of my pass benefits that I might not be thinking of. Thanks for all you do, Grace. My biggest one is make sure that you show it every time you buy merchandise, because a lot of times you get up to 20% off, and it's right there on the app under memberships. Just scroll down on the main page. We talked about that on Friday's show. But Pam, what do you say as a longtime AP holder?
I think the same advice for every time you eat at a restaurant. Mm-hmm. Just ask. Like I've been doing this for I don't know how long, and every now and then I'll say, I don't think they have an annual pass restaurant. Yep. You don't have a discount, do you? And they're like, oh yeah, we do. I'm like, oh okay, yeah, that yes. So definitely that.
What about you, Ricky? Don't make me plot another question.
Yeah, no. My tip is you will get your magnet.
Oh my gosh, magnets.
I see that question all the time in Facebook groups of when am I going to get my magnet? When am I going to get my magnet? So just know, like, you'll get the yellow magnet mailed to you more than likely. I don't get my magnets mailed to me because for some reason they've screwed my stuff up for, I don't know, but I've tried many times to fix it and it's never fixed. But they sent it to Brian, so at least one of us gets a magnet. And then the other magnets, most of the time, if you're looking for those, they don't mail those. Usually, I say most of the time. Those are ones that you have to go to the parks to actually get, usually. So just keep that in mind. It's on like a rare occasion, and it was a lot during COVID that they would mail the magnets. I think now that, everything's moved on a little bit, they're starting to invite people to come back into the parks again. So that's just my tip on that. If you want your magnets, you're probably going to have to go in the park.
Lately at Epcot, Connections.
Yes.
Exactly. Connections, Creations.
Creations.
God,
Yeah.
they made that anymore.
I don't.
Yeah,
they definitely.
They're laughing their butt off every time we make a mistake. Because I can't got them every time. Anyway, for real, this is it. We're going to go until Friday, but we'll be back on Friday celebrating Cinco de Mayo with you. So be ready for that. But of course, as always, if you have a question, email that to me at mike@beourguestpodcast.com. We'll get that in the queue to answer right away, or join us live as we record on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget, our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. The awesome agents over at the Magic for Less are making magic for their guests every single day. No kidding. We hear the stories. Our guests, when they get back, one of the greatest things about working over at the Magic for Less and getting to do what we do is when our guests come back from a Disney vacation, whether it's a cruise, an adventure, maybe, anywhere around the world, Disneyland, Walt Disney World, what have you. And they just send us a quick email, with a couple pictures attached, and you see kids and families, just with joy on their faces. And they tell us, you will never believe this interaction we had with Peter Pan back in Fantasyland, or, we got to celebrate this great meal with grandma that just we've been looking forward to, since 2018. And that really kind of fulfills our hearts as travel agents, because we want that for everybody. We want everybody to have amazing memories that you'll carry with you, not just for the trip, but for the rest of your life. You'll talk about that in 5 years, 10 years at Thanksgiving or Christmas, or, whatever holidays you're celebrating where everybody's around the table. That's what it's all about. And we want to make those memories for you. So when it's time to make that next, trip to a Disney destination, we'd love to help you out, because this is kind of our goal with every trip we put together for our guests. So just swing by the magicforless.com, fill out that quote form, and just put as much information you have. We'll take it from there, and we'll build that relationship, and we'll plan a great trip for you. So again, check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. It helps us out a whole bunch. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And come over and join us for Mike in the Midwest, our Patreon show, where you can get some bonus content and support the Be Our Guest podcast at the same time. So check them out over at patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Pam a follow on social media at TMFLTPam. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. We'd love to talk to you this week. And again, we'll be back again tomorrow with the replay from Sunday night's live call-in show. And then on Friday, we're talking ways to celebrate Cinco de Mayo around Walt Disney World. We're going to have some fun with that. So we're jumping out of here, but we'll be back with you in 48 hours. So sit tight and have fun, and we'll get back with you. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. All right, let me say that one.
Boom.
Episode. Another way, MP3. Grab soda. Feel bad for Mallory. They have like their get to know you cheerleading meeting tonight, where they're going to find out their schedules and stuff.
Yeah.
Like welcome to the team meeting with the parents. This past weekend, they had one of the girls on the squad was killed in a car accident. There was like quadruple. They were leaving a party. 4 girls were killed in a car accident.
Oh
One of them was on the squad.
That's
That happened late Saturday night,
That's
like early
horrible.
Sunday morning. They were busting up a party, and they were leaving, and they were trying to pass a car, and because we have all these rural roads around us. So there was a 2-lane road, and they were trying to pass a car and hit the other car head on, killed the driver of the other car, killed the 3 girls in their car.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like driving in general has become more dangerous lately. I don't know. That makes me sound like an old person, I guess, but
it scares me to death. I mean, like, I love where we moved to. Like, I love where we live. But like now that Mallory's getting ready to start driving, it scares me to death because we have her high school is like in a super rural area. Like it's all 2-lane, up and down, curvy roads. I mean, it's as crazy roads as you can find. That's kind of where it happened on the other side of town, but it was the same kind of roads. And it's just
Wow.
man. Because like we woke up to that on Sunday morning, and it just makes you sick.
Yeah,
it's rough. But so they'll have to go because I mean, like they had a vigil last night up at the high school on the football field, and then they had a moment of silence today at school. But then tonight they're all getting together for start the season for cheer. Man, rough. But I mean, like Pam told her, like that's going to happen. Like, I mean, it happened to her in high school a couple times. Like you just lose people in car accidents. Like it happened to me. A couple of people. I mean, I didn't lose any friends in high school, but I knew people in my class that were killed in car accidents.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people. Just how it was. Sad, man. But anyway, I just hope she has a decent night. Yeah, I gotta keep Pam slept with her last night because she couldn't sleep. All those things. So let's talk Cinco de Mayo. Let's get rid of that. Alrighty, here we go. So this is 2281. Good there. Do I have any Cinco de Mayo sound effects? Anything? Oh, I have this. That's not really Cinco de Mayo, but we can do it. I just like that one.
No, that's not Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a party, though.
It's that. It is that.
What about this?
Hang on.
What if I do the whole show like this?
I'm gonna say no. Yeah.
I got a little something in my throat.
Yeah, you definitely have something in your throat.
Frog.
What'd you say? What? I've had one too many margaritas.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we have this though. Hang on.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
That'll work. The board comes. Yeah. Yo quiero Taco Bell. Okay, here we go. 2021. Speaking of Taco Bell, I got to get going so we can get some Taco Bell in my belly. It is, by the way, the healthiest fast food. There's an article about it.
Yeah, I read that. I don't believe it for a second.
No, because I mean, I get bean burritos. Beans and like rice are actually like the perfect protein. So, just saying, I'm onto something.
No.
I'll live to be 110.
No.
No.
It's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. Here we go. Let's see this. 2281. Here we go. Nope, we don't want 4800. We want 41. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 2281 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and happy Cinco de Mayo. And may the 4th be with you a day late. Hopefully, may the 4th is still with you.
You know today's Revenge of the 5th, right?
Oh, it is. It is.
How am I the one that knows this? I just would like to throw that out there. It's me who came up with Revenge of the 5th. Just saying. Yeah.
But okay, so you got these two competing holidays. You have Revenge of the 5th and Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo trumps Revenge of the 5th by a long shot.
Absolutely. Yes.
Totally. But hope your 5th is revenging today if you celebrate and everything is going well and you're happy Friday for all those people that are just kind of boring. So yeah, no, we love you. We're going to have a good time. And today we're going to talk about celebrating Cinco de Mayo around Walt Disney World, where you can enjoy, some good times with some Mexican food and, Mexican traditions around the Walt Disney World Resort. So we're going to have some good time today. So grab some chips and queso and guac and a margarita and let's get going. So joining me today to have some fun on one of my favorite days of the year, to be honest. It's going to be wild at LS Teca out in O'Fallon, Missouri on Technology Drive. We have Ricky. Ricky, happy Friday. What's up?
Happy Friday. I am ready to celebrate. I'll have the chips all ready to go. They're going to be warmed up and let's do this. I'm excited.
All righty. And also joining us, we have the co-owner of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. And Pam, I know this is kind of a Thanksgiving thing, but it's kind of a crossover, right? It's like a mashup or a remix that on Thanksgiving, you always talk about that place in your neck of the woods that makes the burrito. That's like a Thanksgiving burrito. Now, do they do that at Cinco de Mayo where you can Disney does halfway to Halloween? It's like almost halfway to Thanksgiving at this point. So you could do the burrito on Cinco de Mayo. What's that all about? That'd be a great way to celebrate.
I know. So every now and then it's called a gobblerito. And
oh my God, I need that in my life. I can't believe I've never had one.
So they take a soft burrito shell, right? And they stuff it with turkey and potatoes and stuffing and gravy and corn and smother it in gravy and serve it with more gravy and cranberry sauce. So I know, right? And Mad Max is the company that does it. And every now and then they throw out okay, we're going to have gobbleritos tomorrow, or we're going to have gobbleritos this weekend. They don't have them all the time.
Oh my gosh.
So we had one in the last couple of weeks. It was available. So yeah, I know it's good.
You need to bring that and Permanente Brothers to St. Louis or to Pittsburgh, because I follow them on social media and it just kills me. I need something with fries on it. I need a sandwich, the white bread.
Yes. Plus, and I always say this, but in Pittsburgh, when you get a salad, the Pittsburgh salad also has fries on it. So,
bring it on. I couldn't do it every day, but I could do it most days. I'm saying. So, how did you guys go out on Cinco de Mayo? How do you guys, typically frequent crazy? Here's the thing, our local Mexican restaurants are just regular Mexican restaurants. We go to one in a strip mall, just like Las Fuentes was before we moved. And, it's not wild or anything. It's just typical Mexican restaurant owned by a family in a strip mall, but Las Fuentes on Cinco de Mayo in the back would have a DJ and it'd be just pumping like a nightclub. And it was wild on Cinco de Mayo just for that one day. I don't know how it is in Pittsburgh. How's it go out there?
Yeah, things get a little crazy on Cinco de Mayo at all the restaurants that sort of have Mexican food. We're lucky enough to have a few good ones. But yeah, they do. Sometimes we're into it, and especially too, it sort of depends on what day of the week it falls on. I think a weekend Cinco de Mayo tends to get a little more crazy than weekday Cinco de Mayo for obvious reasons. But yeah.
It'll be a battle for the table tonight. I'm telling you, man. It'll be like you might have to slip a $5 bill to the maitre d', and they don't have a maitre d'.
It's only $5. I would think that it would be at least a 20. Yeah, exactly.
No. There's no maitre d', so there will be no $5 slippage. But I would give $20 for a good booth, because the place is, we go to LS Tech, it's super small. There's probably only 20 booths in the whole place. So we're going to be bumming. So that's why we'll probably go at 3:30. So yeah, I've probably already had dinner while you've listened to the show, and it's probably lunchtime. So there you go. And I've celebrated, and I'll continue to celebrate at home on my deck. Anyway, so today we're jumping in. We're going to talk celebrating Cinco de Mayo at Walt Disney World, which I have done quite a few times, because the Summit Cheerleading Championships tend to happen over Cinco de Mayo, because they're usually around the very beginning of May. The Summit Cheerleading Championships just wrapped up this past weekend down at Walt Disney World. So unfortunately, this year, Mallory did not do All-Star Cheer, so we were not down there, but her gym was down there and they did very well. So shout out Platinum Athletics. But this year, the way the calendar worked, they're all home. D2 Summit, which is the smaller gyms around the country, they get to celebrate Cinco de Mayo this year down at Walt Disney World. So shout out to the small gyms at D2 Summit this weekend. Good luck and celebrate over in Mexico. But Let me ask Pam, have you done Cinco de Mayo? I'm sure you have many times because you're down there so frequently.
Yeah.
What are your tips?
So I think too, I mean, I think when you're coming into something like this, you just have to be prepared that all the places you thought about celebrating Cinco de Mayo, there's probably a whole bunch of your friends that are down there too that have thought about celebrating Cinco de Mayo there.
Yeah, that's true.
Be prepared. But
So-
that's the beauty of Cinco de Mayo, right?
It's
not supposed to
people,
be.
you wanna be-
No.
Right?
You're
It's not a
supposed
solitary
to,
event.
yeah. You're supposed to have fun with everybody. Yes.
Exactly.
But it becomes a challenge, right? I mean, because you're right. Like if say Cinco de Mayo lands on you're right. This year is a challenge because it's a Friday. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if it lands on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and it's Wednesday, May 5th on a random year, people aren't thinking about going necessarily to like El Cava del Tequila at 11 o'clock in the morning. People aren't rope dropping that. Some people are. Don't get me wrong.
Some people are definitely rope dropping that.
Absolutely. Yes. Some people are, and I understand. But on Cinco de Mayo, you gotta commit to that.
You
because
do.
That is, and I've rope dropped, not Cava del Tequila, but I've rope dropped, getting a margarita at Mexico so I can get the picture on social media right at 11 o'clock in front of the big pyramid in Mexico because I wanted it. I was there. I'd been at the park since park opening. I'd already had some empanadas. I was ready to go. I was celebrating. It's my holiday. So that's one of those things that you do have to commit to it early on Cinco de Mayo because the thing is everybody's on vacation at Walt Disney World, right? I mean, you're not the only one that's on vacation. Everybody's on vacation. So everybody's going to want to get a drink and celebrate and post it on social media right away. Because, it's much better to post your margarita, like your Fiesta margarita. That's the frozen one. It's got the 3 colors at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? When everybody back at home is like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they're teaching school. And you're sitting there drinking a margarita. They're like, what? That's the ultimate, gotcha kind of thing.
It is.
I was so mean back then.
Yeah, you still are.
Terrible not to hear that. So, Ricky, what about you? Give some tips. Like, where can we go to get some good Mexican food, drinks, experiences? Let's talk about it all.
So the first tip I'm going to give you is if you do want to go to La Cava, which is at the Mexico Pavilion in Epcot World Showcase, they will more than likely, that is going to be packed. They will more than likely have a special entrance and line for you to go into, so that way they can pump people through a little bit faster. So just know that La Cava is going to be completely packed. However, there is another option, and there's a great margarita stand that's outside of the actual pyramid. So you can go to that and grab your margarita if that's all you're really looking for. Again, the line will be long, but it probably, since all they're doing is pumping out margaritas there, it'll go probably a little bit faster, but who knows. So if that's all you want is that margarita, the picture, with the margarita, I would consider that booth outside for sure. Again, it'll be busy because people see it and they'll be passing it. So of course, and with it being Cinco de Mayo, yes, people will be like, hey, let's get a margarita. But that's going to be another great option for you.
Absolutely. And they do go quickly at the stand outside because basically I think they're just making frozen margaritas out of the margarita machine. They're just pulling the thing and making the transaction. It goes rather quickly. So Pam, let's talk some more suggestions for having fun on Cinco and celebrating the holiday.
I think that if you want to head over to Coronado Springs, I think there's a lot of locations there that would be a good place to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. You have Cafe Rick's, you have, of course, Maya Grill. You can get some smooth jazz.
Correct.
Right.
And great. They have a great menu. And the thing is, it's really easy to get in there. I don't know about on Cinco de Mayo, but I think we've gone there we have actually. We've gotten in day of on Cinco de Mayo and had dinner there at a reasonable time.
So there's that. And there's lots of locations there. So if your plan didn't work out that you could go to one location, you can go to another. But I think, while there are, definitely it's definitely Spanish influence, right? At that whole throughout the resort. So I think there's lots of ways to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but I think just having that backdrop sort of makes it that much more cool. There's lots of great restaurants. Heck, even their quick service locations are not bad locations. And Three Bridges, of course, is a location that you can walk up to as well. But I just think, you can't go wrong with that resort. And I think it would help sort of just add to the celebration for sure.
Mhm.
Right. And they have frozen margaritas at their poolside bar at Coronado, which you could walk over there, get one of those frozen margs and just walk around because that resort is beautiful, over at the dig site pool.
It is.
And, just chill out there, you just enjoy the place.
Mhm.
They also have was it Siestas? No, Siestas might be the poolside bar. But what's the little bar that's right there outside of El Centro? It's right there outside of the main area. It's just it's a little square. It's a really nice little bar, and they've been using it a lot lately. Laguna.
Yes,
Yeah.
Laguna.
So that'd be a cool place to go. Because the thing is, you got to kind of think off the beaten path. If you're going to be down there and it's a holiday, that'd be a good place to go. And pair that with get a good meal at Maya Grill. They have great fajitas. They have the margarita flights back on. They have a tequila flight. Or you could go and just have a drink out there and just because that water, that lagoon is beautiful over there, especially at night at sunset. Oh, if the weather's nice, great place to go.
It is.
So obviously, we could also talk about places that have good Mexican food around Walt Disney World. If you're looking for food and atmosphere combined, Vero Mike in the live chat has kind of the ultimate experience. San Angel Inn inside the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot. They don't have this is just me because again, I like kind of just regular Mexican food like burritos, enchiladas, beans, rice, guac, that kind of stuff. They tend to have kind of fancier Mexican food. At least they name it that, like I don't necessarily know what everything is on the menu, but most Mexican food tastes similar. It's kind of all derived from the same ingredients. So the one thing is it's great atmosphere. It reminds me very much of Blue Bayou at Disneyland because it's super dark and you really don't know what you're eating because you can't see it very much because you got a candle. It's so bad that I'm getting
It's so dark in there.
It's so dark. I got to use my phone to read the menu, and I feel like I'm 90 because it's. Dude,
Brian and I had to do it too, so don't feel bad. And you're
right.
We're not that far behind you, but we're far enough behind you.
But the thing is, when I ride not El Rio del Tiempo, but what's it called?
El Rio del Grand Fiesta Tour.
Grand Fiesta Tour. I see people doing that all the time.
El Rio del Tiempo. We've gone back in time.
Anyway, but I see people doing it all the time. Anyway, but the food there is really good, and it's got. That has probably the best top 3 atmosphere of any restaurant at Walt Disney World, and especially for Cinco de Mayo, it's perfect.
Right?
It's nice. Yeah, all the time. It's just that is like the coolest place to eat on Cinco de Mayo, which I've been there many times for the 4th of July. Ironically enough, I don't know why, but go there. So that's a great place. Let's talk. So we've mentioned Maya Grill. Let's go other restaurants where you can get good Mexican food on property. Even if you got to go counter service, let's think outside the box. Ricky, think outside the box. What's another place?
So I'm obviously gonna go. I have 2 that are like quick servicey. One is obviously La Cantina de San Angel, which is outside of the pyramid. They have lots of great options there. So they have tacos, they have empanadas, they have nachos, black beans, lots of great choices. I've actually gotten the empanadas con queso, which is part of the kids menu before. Those are fantastic.
Those empanadas are good.
Yes.
I get them a lot. Those things are solid.
I've just gotten the kids menu version so that way I can snack around World Showcase, and those are fantastic. But they have the full on, yeah. But the other option I'm going to throw out there as a choice that, not many people may think of, or at least originally, is, it is Flower and Garden, and there's always a, booth outside of the Mexico Pavilion serving some sort of tacos or something like that as part of the Flower and Garden Festival. So that may be an option as well if you're looking for something quick to kind of go with. So, that could be something to consider.
And I believe that booth had a margarita as well.
Like I'm sure it does.
Almost positive
yeah,
it did.
It usually does.
Yeah, it did. But I can't remember what kind it was. Because I looked at it and I thought it was expensive. So
I'm sure it was expensive. Yeah. So, but I'll look it up.
Yeah, but I'm positive it had because it's right there as if you're coming from the old Future World, and you're hanging the left there, heading towards Mexico. You'll encounter that before you even come to the cantina. It's on your
Yes.
right there, the booth. All right, Pam, let's talk about dining Mexican style. So let's go some other options. If you got to go counter service, snacky, or table service.
All right.
You've got to have Mexican food on Cinco.
All right. So if you're in the Magic Kingdom, you know where you can head to, right?
I know.
Pecos Bills.
Yeah, Pecos Bills,
fajitas, and they have tacos, I believe, and even like a taco salad and whatnot. But yeah, that's where you can go. Now it is, I'm not sure that we're going to be mentioning all the authentic locations, right?
Right.
But Pecos Bill is like you end up, I think everyone ends up eating there at some point, right? At Pecos Bill. I mean, really and truly, you do. It has indoor seating, it has outdoor seating. You can actually go to the overflow over at the bowl of meat place. What is that called?
Tortuga Tavern.
Yes, Tortuga Tavern. So you have that. But I think Pecos Bills is always a good thing. And one thing about Pecos Bills, when you're in there eating, they actually have written out when you walk in, like one of the main doors there. They have the story of Pecos Bill written sort of out there, and it's worth stopping and reading. I think it's really kind of cool.
It is. Talks about how Pecos Bill once worked at Taco Bell and took the fajita recipe and brought it to the Magic Kingdom. No, he didn't. He was a tall tale guy in the West. No, that was a bad joke. But Swansea Searcher in the live chat said they should include night vision goggles at San Angelo Inn. There you go. Okay, so let's have.
Yes, it's true.
Let me ask you this, because I have not been to Toledo over at Coronado. Pam, you have.
Yeah, I have a few times.
So would that be a good Cinco option? Because tapas, I think, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a Spanish influence, not really a Mexican influence, but that's sort of like the vibe there. There's a lot of Spanish tapas and things like that. When we were in Barcelona, they had a lot of restaurants that just do tapas, and that was kind of a cool thing. And that's sort of what you'll find at Toledo's as well. Plus, it's a beautiful, beautiful restaurant. If you haven't been, you should plan to go up and see. There's trees in the restaurant. I mean, there's just sort of a stained glass looking thing. It really is beautiful. And if not there, you can also go to Dahlia's, which is the lounge up there. And it has expansive views. I mean, really and truly, the view from there is fantastic. So that's always another thing. You're not going to find tacos and burritos there, but you're absolutely going to find Spanish-inspired food for sure.
That's good. Yeah, I still haven't made it up there. I got to get up there sometime. Ricky, you got something?
Yeah, so if you're looking for a couple of options at Disney Springs, you can go to Frontera Cucina, or you can go to Paradiso 37 as well. So both of those have some good options that you can consider if you're walking around Disney Springs.
That's a good call. Been to both, actually multiple times for both. Frontier Cucina is super good because they have, to me, it's kind of it's very similar to like La Hacienda over at Epcot, like not San Angelo Inn, but La Hacienda, the sit down restaurant that's on the water. Kind of the same menu where you can get things like fajitas, but it's like a more upscale like take on them, and they're super tasty options. I don't think a lot of people think about that place, but it's
no, and that's kind of why I wanted to mention it, because I'm certain that a lot of people aren't thinking about either of those two places.
Yeah, I really like that place a ton. But Pam, what about you? Have you eaten at Frontier Cucina? Because I really like. I've been there 3 times.
Yes, so they do. It is sort of elevated food in that space. I think that it offers like a whole experience. They have lots of different drinks, and they have not tableside guac, but guacamole that you can add things to. Like I know ours had bacon and whatnot, but they had other things like papitas and stuff like that you could add to your guacamole too, which I thought was really interesting. I liked that sort of concept, and the chef Rick Bayless who does it, he puts out some great food, so it's absolutely something to check out.
So I know that Jaleo is not Mexican, it's Spanish inspired. But tell us about that, Pam, because that's one of those places I still have not gotten to, and I don't know why. There's very few places I have not eaten at Walt Disney World, and this is one of those places I just never have gotten to yet. Small plates, right? But I've heard just every person's gone there has raved about this place.
And it does. It has small plates, it has big plates, all of it. And the thing, one of the things that always makes me feel good when we eat there is, first of all, Chef Jose Andres. He has a fantastic charity that feeds so many people around the world. When the fighting started in Ukraine, that group was the first to go in there and make sure that people were being fed and whatnot. So this is someone who really, I think, does so much good in the world, and you love to see someone successful doing good. I think it just all comes around in that. But Jaleo has both small plates and it has larger plates as well. They have a lot of different, like cured ham things, lots of different cured hams and sausages and whatnot. There's all different kinds of cheese to choose from, but then they also have just more, traditional things that you will see. There's also seafood. So it's kind of the place where there's really something for everyone. There's also an outdoor seating location like on the back of the restaurant. It's not always something that they use, but it's something there. And there's beautiful artwork too when you walk into the restaurant. It's a beautiful restaurant. It's a big restaurant. You are usually going to be able to get some kind of dining there. If you can't get an ADR, stop by and see if it's available. But there's just so many things to choose from there. Everything that I've had there has been fantastic. So give it a shot.
I will say too, if you're at Disney Springs and you're looking just to get a margarita on Cinco and you're just walking around doing some shopping, checking out entertainment, Splitsville will probably have a lot of options you can get outside there on that. A lot of times they'll have a little live entertainment there, kind of on their patio, kind of that corner.
Yes, they do all the time.
Like an outdoor bar. That's a good place. They'll probably have lots of margarita specials on Cinco, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a good.
There's dockside margaritas too.
Yes, over by the marketplace.
Yes,
what used to be the marketplace.
Right. Yeah.
What was the other place you said, Ricky, besides Frontier Cucina? Because
Paradiso 37.
Yes, and that place again is a huge place. Always can get an ADR at this place, and it's not the best. I joked about it.
It's all right.
It's okay. I mean,
but if you're looking for something with that kind of flair to it, it's a good option. So,
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that, on the Cinco de Mayo, like, would you rather wait 3 hours to get, some Mexican food, or would you rather have it now and have something that's kind of Mexican adjacent, or like Americanized Mexican food? I'd rather have it now, and get, just get some quesadillas on or something, I'm fine with that. But they have a gigantic menu, and they have good margaritas, I'm sure. I mean, it's Cinco de Mayo, and they have a lot of good outdoor spaces to dine if it's a beautiful day. I mean, most places at Disney Springs do, but I mean, you're in Florida, eat outside.
And then one other place too, if you are at Epcot, that you might want to consider going to is actually Boardwalk Joe's Marvelous Margaritas, which is over on the boardwalk.
Yes, that's right.
So if you're looking for just getting a margarita and maybe a Mickey pretzel, then this is the place for you.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think what else. So entertainment, though, you got to make sure that you see the mariachi band in Epcot. They'll be doing a lot of performances on Cinco de Mayo there in World Showcase. Mariachi Cobre. I love those guys.
So good.
They are so good on any day. It could be August. It could be December. Could be February. I don't care. They stop me in my tracks because, even on bad weather days, sometimes they'll perform right there kind of inside the pyramid, like in the square. And they are so talented, and I love the way they just play their music and they smile while they're performing. And the music is just, it brings the pavilion to life. And I mean, like I still, because I've done this, right? I mean, if you have a margarita, and I only have one margarita, that's all, I'm not drinking to get crazy, but I'll celebrate on Cinco de Mayo. I'll get one margarita, frozen margarita, and stand there and watch these awesome performers. I mean, in the sunshine of Florida, it's a good day, with some empanadas in your belly. I mean, that's good Cinco de Mayo. So obviously you want to ride Grand Fiesta Tour. You want to do that. But what else could you do kind of Cinco de Mayo adjacent, around Walt Disney World? What is there any? Actually, I had something real quick now we didn't get to do this, but it is something they do once a week at Coronado. There's a class you can sign up for, and it takes place up in the Dahlia Lounge, or however you pronounce that. Dahlia, it's fancy, super fancy mic. But it's where you make you make this art piece out of like mosaic tiles, like broken little pieces of glass. I think it's on Wednesdays.
Huh.
We tried to do that over Dopey and it was full, but it looks super cool. Like you got to pay like $20, but it's a small little class and you get a souvenir to take home, and they do it like once a week over at Coronado. So, and one of our guests came on the show and talked about it a few months ago, and she said it was a blast.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I love that they've been doing these art things at the different hotels, and that is one that they do there. I've seen it just about every time we've been there lately. So
I would love to do that. So, Ricky, you have anything kind of Cinco de Mayo adjacent or entertainment wise, or just
yeah,
anything?
I guess I was just trying to think of things that are kind of off the beaten path. You could now go to Mickey's PhilharMagic because now they have the Coco scene.
Right.
So you could catch that to kind of get a little bit of the flair. So that's an option. That's the only thing I can think of.
I mean, it's something that wasn't there last year that's now available. Yeah, the Coco scene. So, man, we got to really stretch it here.
I know we are really stretching here, and I'm trying to think of different stuff to do. I think too. One of the things you can do is check out what they're doing at the Kidcot station at the Mexico Pavilion too. They usually have some kind of little thing going on for not just Cinco de Mayo, but something else. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a major holiday, but it is a fun time to be down there. It's especially at Epcot. Like for some reason, Epcot kind of has a little more flavor to it. I mean, the Mexico Pavilion is actually hopping. I mean, it's just like if you're there Bastille Day, in France. That's what I like about World Showcase, right? Is that you get to celebrate these holidays in those pavilions, where back home, in Missouri, yeah, it's fun to go to, El Azteca and get your, by number 15 combination like I get every Friday night. But it's fun to be in that atmosphere because they're going to have extra performances by Mariachi Cobra. And you're going to have other people there that are, having a good time. Like, I love that.
Yeah, we've done Canada Day before, which is a lot of fun too. Like you're right, just celebrating the different festivals that are days that are big in other cultures is so much fun in World Showcase, and so that's kind of why celebrating Cinco de Mayo is such a fun thing to do at Epcot, because they do it just gets a little extra oomph added to it. You feel a little happier for some reason when you're
it's kind of the point of Epcot, right?
Yeah,
to learn something about other cultures and whatnot. And I think anytime you can celebrate that there, it's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, and Swansea Searcher here in the live chat says got to draw Panchito at the animation experience over at Animal Kingdom, which is back in Rafiki's Planet Watch, which is, again, I would imagine that Disney probably does this resort wide anywhere. They're going to do like an animation class or something like that. They're probably going to, on Cinco de Mayo, maybe draw, maybe Donald or something for, is he, he's not Panchito. He's just Donald. He's hanging out with Panchito.
Donald.
Right?
Yeah, he's hanging out with Panchito.
And who's the other guy?
Jose.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Jose Karaoke.
Karaoke was named after him.
No.
That's Japanese. No. Okay, what do we celebrate that day? Okay,
I don't know.
Do we celebrate in Japan? When do we celebrate Karaoke Day? Anyway.
Yeah, no.
You know what? We're calling it a show. I know it's a shorter show, but we do some long shows sometimes, and it's Cinco de Mayo. So we got to get in line so we can get inside and get our 15.
That's right.
At El Azteca. So cut us a break. We tried. But I mean, really, it's not a major holiday, but it's a major fun holiday. It's a great vibe at Epcot and around Walt Disney World.
It is 100% a vibe. Yes.
Get a Cinco de Mayo shirt, grab some ears that make you feel like you're celebrating, and go do it.
Exactly.
Here's a PSA. Don't wear a shirt that says Cinco de Drinko. I don't. No, please. No. Don't. Okay, we are going to get out of here, but we'll be back again on Monday with a great trip report. Of course, next Wednesday, more listener questions. Friday, who knows what we'll talk about. We'll talk about that next week. But we love having you as a listener. We hope you always enjoy our shows. We share some laughs. We share some fun information and some memories from your Walt Disney World and all your Disney trips. That's kind of why we do what we do. But we appreciate you taking the time to listen to our show. Don't forget, our podcasts are always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. You know the deal. We've been doing this for over 2,200 episodes. Just swing by themagicforless.com. The agents are standing by this weekend. Yes, the agents do celebrate Cinco de Mayo, but then they get back to their computers and help you plan magical vacations to your favorite place. So just swing by the website, fill out as much information as you have on that free, no obligation quote form, and we'll take care of you from there. We're going to help you have a great time. Maybe you'll celebrate Cinco de Mayo 2024 down there next year. You never, we can't book those yet. I shouldn't have said that yet.
No, don't say that.
Mike, hang on. Where's the record scratch? Nope, that's the horn. Not getting. I haven't even celebrated Cinco de Mayo yet. I'm hitting the wrong buttons on the board. Who knows? Anyway, just go over to the magicforless.com. We'll take care of it from there. I promise. All right. Don't forget, we have our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, we would love that. You get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Coming over this week. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there already. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give Ricky a follow on social media. She's at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike. Can't wait to talk to you this weekend. And join us this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. It's the BOGP open line. Scott and I will be together taking your calls with all the Disney news of the week. Be a part of the show. We love talking to you. So join us Sunday night. All right. For Ricky and Pam, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Whatever you do, have fun out there, stay safe, and just make good choices and be careful. And we'll see you real soon. All right. Ooh, we got May 25th is National Karaoke Day, even though it's spelled wrong. But
there you go.
karaoke, maybe it's like where you barbecue. I don't know.
National Karaoke Day. I didn't even know that. See,
everything's got a day.
Other day things. I like it.
Yeah,
That's
like
right.
there's probably like a left sock day. I mean, everything has a day.
I mean, definitely a left sock day. I don't know.
So dumb. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you so much for going early, and we'll do it again next week.
See ya.
See you guys.
See ya.
Have a good one. Bye.